Okay, so hi everyone. Hope you all are doing well. I am Malaika Tahir, SHRM Partner Programs Manager at HR Metrics, and I warmly welcome you all to our online dialogue, Unlocking SHRM Exam Success Proven Strategies by our alumni. Um, I'm so glad to see many of you joining this session, and huge thanks to each one of you for being here. We know it's Ramzan, and managing time can be tough, but still you made your effort to join us. So I really appreciate that. Thank you again for joining us. Also, a heartfelt congratulations to all those who have recently earned their certification. I would say that your hard work and dedication have truly paid off. So, yeah.
Thank you.
But moving forward, welcome. Moving forward, let me give you a brief intro of HR Metrics. HR Metrics is exclusive official partner of SHRM in Pakistan. It is Pakistan's leading provider of competency-based HR certifications like SHRM certification, ISO 30414 certification, and DEI certification. So the agenda of this online dialogue is to help attendees learn how successful candidates structure their learning time for maximum efficiency, share smart strategies for leveraging study material and cohort learning, and provide real life stories of overcoming obstacles and staying motivated. Also, to explore how certification can open door to career and leadership opportunities. Here is our lineup of speakers. I would request each speaker to take maximum like 5 minutes to complete their talk. And also when each speaker is finished talking, we will take minimum 2 questions from audience for each speaker. So try to keep your question precise to respect time. And if you'd like to ask any question, you can use the raise hand option on your screens and ask the questions. I would like Zahid Mubarak, CEO of HR Metrics, who brought SHRM to Pakistan, to give his opening remarks. Over to you, Zahid.
Thank you. So once again, I appreciate everyone for your passionate engagement. I'm grateful to Malaika for the good start. And basically, what we are doing today is one of the series of the things that we do for our people who are engaged with us. You understand that HR Metrics is a company which provides a differentiation to the HR profession. At the global level, the SHRM, it provides a thought leadership to the HR profession and the professional the university, having 340,000 members in more than 180 countries and around 150,000 certified professionals all over the world. SHRM is leading the profession, and we do it at the national level in cooperation with the SHRM. Our goal is that we should not just provide the training, because, for example, when the people go through the training, those who get certified, they enjoy recognition, advancement, continuous professional development, recognition, their career growth, and we try to create conditions for it. At the same time, those who are not able to certify because of some reason, they're not able to pass the exam or they don't appear in the examination, we provide them constant support so that they are, on their way, on their path to their to their growth. So this intervention does not stop anywhere. It's a lifelong journey. In a way that periodically we get back to our alumni to understand that whatever they've learned in the organization, whatever they learned, how they are using this learning to transform their organization, what changes they are bringing, how they are inspiring the stakeholders, and how it is impacting their career professionally. So in that pursuit, I think something that really makes the difference is the SHRM body of applied skills and the knowledge, which we call the SHRM BASC. Those who have already studied it, they know it well. Those are going to study, they'll go through it. So Malaika, can you advance the slide, go to the SHRM BASC? So the SHRM BASC, something that I call the gold mine for the HR, a mix of you can say the 9 behavioral competencies and the 14 technical competencies. that you always use at various levels, where you're operating at the strategic level or the operational level. And even during today's conversation also, we would like to understand how our SHRM alumni who have gone through this rigorous training of understanding the things and then demonstrating their proficiency through the application. And this application is determined during the examination. So how they've used this content basically to leverage their career and what was their purpose, what are these successful strategies they have employed, and most importantly, what do they think, how they can be benefiting themselves in their organization in this journey of, as I said, self-renewal, self-growth, continuous professional development, and career enhancement. So I stop over here, and I request Malaika to proceed with the proceedings of the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Zahid, for your insights. Now let's move on to the most insightful part of our session, hearing directly from our esteemed speakers. Our first speaker is Daryl Jacob, Director of People Excellence at K Electric Pakistan. He is SHRM SCP certified. Daryl, we'd love to hear about your SHRM journey, so over to you.
Thank you, Malaika, and thank you, HR Metrics. Very good evening to everybody. It's good to be here with you all. So I think one of the questions that people wonder about is that what is the best way to use the LMS that you gain access to when you enroll in the program, and one of the big benefits that you get is you gain the access to the LMS. So generally, learning from recent experience, back in Feb, I cleared the examination and got certified. So one of the things which you must do is you must go through all the chapters. You must try to cover the content. Usually the preparation takes about just over 3 months or so. So that is enough time, and that's, in tandem, you're going through your weekly classes as well. So what you can do is, as you are clearing your classes and covering different chapters, also go through that on your LMS. While you're going through your LMS, you can make your own notes, because maybe, towards the end, when there is, a mountain of content in front of you to go through a final review, that's the time when your own notes will become more helpful. And there are a lot of features in the LMS. So one of the things is that you can, when you go through one particular chapter, you can check your understanding. There's a functionality there that lets you, for that portion, tests you for that. That can help you to improve your understanding of different concepts. You must attempt all quizzes. They give you a good indication of where you stand. And there's a portion which tells you of your collective, cumulative performance in terms of how you're doing and which competency, and that will help you prioritize your studying as well. Other than that, one of the most important thing is the mock test, which is part of the LMS. Again, I personally thought the mock test was quite tough, and after going through that mock test, maybe this is a personal experience, but I found that the mock test was a bit tougher when it compared to the actual test. Or maybe it was just, HR Metrics over preparing us to the extent that, we were doing things in lesser time and, with more confidence when the test itself comes up. Another question that people might be wondering about, that this is a commitment. So if you are planning to go for this, what sort of timings do you require? So in my experience, you do absolutely require about 2 to 3 hours a day. Maybe give yourself a day off in the week just to, keep everything in its place. But you must give yourself, because you'll have a 3-hour class every week. Other than that, your 2 to 3 hours of personal time, which you are spending on the LMS and making your own notes, which will, like I said, come in handy towards the end, that is very important. And obviously throughout this, let's say 3 months time, you will be going through your, family events, I don't know, Christmas, different sort of things will be coming up. So you may miss a few days, but you must always keep track. On an average, 2 to 3 hours a day will do it. It's not difficult to study, more or less. We're mostly HR professionals, so we have maybe in lesser detail gone through a lot of this stuff within our work lives, but the real challenge is commitment. Committing yourself, saying no to friends, saying no to, I don't know if people are fond of Netflix, saying no to, maybe family even at times, children. That is the difficult part of this whole certification, because you must dedicate that time. Little trick that I used is kept on telling myself that it's only for a certain period of time that I have to put in these 2 to 3 hours daily on this. So that helps as well. So again, another question was that what sort of challenges that I face? So in my opinion, allocating time itself is the biggest challenge. The other part of it, the learning part of it, it is designed in such a way, the classes are designed in a way, and the LMS, it gives you the resources to really build yourself up and equip yourself to take care of, come up, in the exam. But time itself is the challenge. So make sure that when you're getting into it, most of you might be enrolled already, that the challenge is time. So make sure that you're committing to it. Without a commitment, you might find yourself with a little bit of a disappointment towards the end. And finally, key tips during examination. So what I found is that the whole program, HR Metrics, Umar was our trainer. They prepared us in a way that we were doing questions in much lesser time during our practice and during our classes. When it came to the actual test, in my personal experience in both the sections, I found that I had a good 20 minutes to spare to review my questions, simply because we had gotten into the habit of doing questions fairly quickly. So when the time of the exam comes, try to follow the same pace, but keep marking the questions that you are doubtful about. Do not leave any question blank, just in case you end up in a situation that time, you don't have that much time towards the end. Do your questions quickly, mark the doubtful ones. In both sections, you will find that you will have time to come back and check on the flagged questions that you've marked. Secondly, the SJs are again probably the more complicated part of the examination, the situational judgment questions. I've found that, obviously, other than reading the question carefully, the other part was that the action verb, which is, part of the answer, that is very important, because mostly you're being asked questions as an HR professional. So you learn through, going through the program, that the answer, HR does rarely say that, okay, I'll send an email out, or I will, ask somebody else to take care of this. HR always takes the onus upon themselves. And so action verbs like provide and develop and consult and collaborate will give you a better chance of the right answer, as opposed to something like ask somebody to do something or send out an email. And if you talk about the test, I think, because at the end, you will feel that there is such a mountain standing in front of you. How am I going to go through so much content for a final review? I've found that if you make your own notes while going through the LMS, it can help you to recall things better, because at the end, it's the concept that you're trying to recall. So these are some findings, some things that I experienced, and I found that they might be useful to others who are in line. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and I wonder if we can take questions later on. Thank you.
So, any question by anyone? Any comment? Okay, Darren, I have a comment. I know that the frequent, justification which is given by majority of the people, and most importantly, people at the senior level like you, at the leadership level, they always say that we are short of time. And we always tell them that you don't have to manage the time, you have to manage yourself. And this is what you also said. Time is 24 hours. You can't make it 25 hours or 23 hours. So how assertively you reach out to the content in a way that you are able to make it and you have a successful experience. So when you said that you had time, you have to say, shield yourself to some of the things that you do traditionally, even for some time, sacrificing the family time or other things. So I hope the other participants, those who are going to attend the session in the future, I hope it's not scary to them. Mohammed Aniq Saab, what do you think? It's a dialogue. We are having a conversation. There's no teaching involved. Have you say in it? Yeah. Any thoughts? आप कुछ कहना चाहते हैं?
Yes, I think useful suggestions given by Mr. Darrell. And of course, one has to manage all the priorities. It is sometimes challenging to undertake so many tasks at one time and spare time for such like certification. But as you said that one has to manage his time correctly. I remember we used to call, I'm just trying to share that whenever there is a night in between, there's nothing impossible. So in our times, we used to leave everything to the last night for preparation. But going by Darrell's suggestion, I think I'll have to delegate time on daily basis. And secondly, learning from him was that as HR specialists, one doesn't have to delegate. One has to take onus and responsibility of whatever is concerning HR affairs. So that was, I think, very useful that while writing or giving the answers, one has to be very careful in choice of words. I think, thank you very much, Darrell. That was very useful. Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. Fine. Then we can assume that there are no more questions and we can move forward. So next we have Sadaf Shea. Okay, next we have Sadaf Shea. She's head of HR at Pochi Oil Terminal and Distribution Company Limited and Pochi Trans Terminal Limited, Pakistan. She is from SCP certified. Sadaf, as you were the first one to clear the exam in fall batch 2024, so we would like to hear your story, your SHRM story.
Yeah, even before the classes were finished. I don't know what the secret behind this.
I think there were last 2 classes still left and she cleared the exam.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Malaika. Thank you, Zaid Saab. Thank you, everyone, for coming here. And thank you, HR Matrix, for giving this opportunity. Am I audible?
Very well.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And Ramzan Mubarak to everyone. So after getting so many tips from Daryl, I am speechless of how more can I add. I think Daryl has concluded it in a very, very conclusive and exclusive manner. But let me try. What more can I add? So the first question that, comes in anyone's mind is, why do we want to have this SHRM certification? To me, the critical aspect was because, we all are leading with the most important asset of the organization, which is people. And as we all know that in a technology-driven society where AI is taking lead, and if we talk about hard skills and soft skills, the new soft skill will be the people skill. So back in university time, when we had only electives and those were only focused HR courses, but now the world has evolved. And I think not only in terms of practical aspect, but in technical aspect, this SHRM certification gives you a lot of advantage if you have that, because because we see that a lot of organization also require SHRM or other certified professionals for their leading positions. So this was the one major goal that drived me to acquire this certification. Also, this certification helps gaining trust and credibility, because after having this certification with your resume, you feel more confident. You feel more reliable, that people can come to you. Even you can train your people also, because not only conventional topics were discussed in 15 16 classes, like compensation management and talent management, but we also learned about risk management of the business plus corporate social responsibility. So that tells about the importance of HR, that HR these days is everywhere, be it corporate social responsibility, financial aspects, everywhere. So that was the driving force, that it is a conclusive certification that helps you in growing your career forward. Plus, I think, like what Daryl said, time management, this certification helps you disciplining yourself. Because when I was preparing my exam and I looked at the LMS, there are 22 chapters altogether that you have to cover before the exam. And I think one chapter cannot be done in one day. So you have to dedicate your at least 1.5 months before the exam. So what I did was that I, listed all those chapters. Then, like what Daryl said, I focused on preparing my notes with my own writing, because it's all about, going through concept and understanding them. So that was important, and then breaking them down. So that was one thing which I wanted to share. Then the second thing was that, the question why I tried to appear before the classes were finished, because, I was so into it. Umar was there, the whole team was there. Acha, there's one more thing that I wanted to share is, while you are in the classes, 15 to 16 classes you have with yourself, um, I strongly recommend to be active during those classes, because the discussion that you have during those classes, because you have people from energy sector, you have people from manufacturing sector, you have people from automobile, and the examples that are shared in session from those industries, those that will really help you, because uh, 30 to 40% of the exam is situational based questions. And those scenarios that are discussed during the classes, they help you while implementing your thought process during the exam. Because in exam, you get 4 questions, 4 answers. And the tip that worked with me was eliminating the, farthest answers, which you feel that are not close, and choosing the most relevant question, choosing the most relevant answer. And I think while appearing in the exam, the gut feeling is the prime source, because that helps you in identifying the right answer and implementing that. That's about it. I think if anybody wants to
So feel free to interact, get in dialogue, any
Yes.
question, comment here. So you very
Any
rightly
question?
said that opportunity to basically master those skills in the form of the situation judgmental questions. I think that plays a vital role, and our experience is that majority of the people who do not pass the exam, that's not because of the knowledge item, but the situation judgmental questions, because that is where we need to achieve more mastery. And thank you so much. I think you have covered everything quite elaborately. So if there's no question, we can move on. Thank you, Sada.
Thank you, Sada, for your insights. Amazing strategies for acing your exam. Next, we are moving to Sidra Azam. She is HRBP Manufacturing SCM and QA/QC at National Foods Limited, Pakistan. She is SHRM SCP. Sidra, we are keen to hear your SHRM certification story. So over to you. Do we have Sidra with us? Okay.
She was with us a moment ago.
Okay, no problem. We can move forward with you, Hina. So Hina is basically HR business partner and consultant at Research Tech Private Limited, Pakistan, and she is
Sidra is
SHRM.
back. Malaika,
Sidra is
sorry
back.
to interrupt, but Sidra is back.
Okay,
Maybe you
problem.
can take a say that later on. You can
Sorry,
continue with
guys.
and yeah. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah, sure, please.
so yeah, Hina, over to you. We want to hear your certification journey, SCP. Just like in 6 months, now you have cleared from SCP. So yeah, let's hear.
Okay, thank you, Malaika. Thank you for giving the
Welcome.
opportunity, and thank you so much, Zahid Saab, for again giving me the opportunity to, share my insights. I really wanted to speak. It's my passion to share my insights, and rather generalizing, telling things in a generalized manner, I would be more particular. Because in my last webinar, I have, told certain generalized tips and tricks, but here I just wanted to, break the whole content, what it is about, what the whole SHRM is about. I wanted to break the content into two parts. Firstly, the behavioral competencies, and the second one is the functional areas. What my strategy was, or what I had faced, is that when I talk about the behavioral competencies, it started from the leadership and navigation, then ethical
Sorry,
practice.
can I interrupt? Can I interrupt? Is your video off intentionally, or you? I hope you're aware of it.
Uh, Actually,
Your choice, your choice. I
I
want to go
agree, it
with
was
that,
my
whatever you are
choice.
now.
Actually, I'm fasting and I'm a bit low in energy, so I just don't want to.
I leave
But
it to you.
because
I
I
leave
can,
it to you.
yeah. Not an issue. I'll turn it on. I turn it on. Okay. So I'll break the whole content into the two parts, the behavioral competencies and the functional competencies. When we talk about the behavioral competencies, it starts from the leadership and navigation, then ethical, and then afterwards there was the diversity, inclusion, and then we later move on, and we ended up with the consultancy and analytical aptitude competency. As far as the content was concerned, frankly speaking, content is pretty short, straight, and direct. But when it comes to the SJI parts, because in this, you are going to face the difficulties. SJIs and knowledge base items. Knowledge base items were pretty okay to attempt. But as far as the SJIs were concerned, these are called as situational judgment items. The whole scenario is given, and even a single word can change the whole scenario, frankly speaking. And many difficult, and I've witnessed, because, in the past 1 year, I've gone through the material again and again and again, many times. So I've seen many difficult words were there in the SGIs and in the content as well. So one word can change the whole meaning of the, what you are looking for, the answer, and the whole scenario. So you need to be very, keen into it. And for that, you need to sometimes not. I've opened many times dictionary, frankly speaking, though I consider myself that, the whole of my life I've read in, English schools, and I know English very well. But again, I have to open the dictionary, that what does this mean? So because, after looking at the meaning of that, then it totally changed up the whole scenario. Then comes to the SGIs. You have to go through each and every line, each and every thing, because the whole scenario is either related with the 2 questions or with the 3 or 4 questions. So when you are going to read each and every line and you are going to grasp it, then start attempting the answers. First of all, again, I second it, that strike off the wrong options first, and then directly, find 2 similar options. Then in that approach, you have to identify because HR work is consultative. It's about giving consultancies, supportive, it's about HR. So you need to find out that, where the HR is standing and where the HR role is very strong. So that option would be the right option. Another thing, when you are going through the knowledge items, then keep on repeating those things again and again. And another thing, in the leadership and navigation competency, you will be facing many theories. I know many of you have gone through all those theories multiple times, but you have to learn them by heart, because any question could pop up and you have to answer that. And then comes to the functional areas. When we talk about the functional areas, I have told you that in the behavioral competencies, the material is short, precise, and it's direct. But as far as the functional competencies are concerned, you will have to go through a lot of content. But when you will start attempting the question, then you will realize that it's quite easy. Though this is a relative term, but again, as compared to the SGIs, it would be very easy for you to attempt the questions from the functional areas, like people, organization, and the workplace. It is very easy to attempt those questions if you have gone through that content again and again. Okay. What you have to go through, the EPUBs, you have to download it, convert it to the PDF. For me, I have converted them into the hard form, because as the Daryl was mentioning, that you have to take your own notes. It's better for you to take the notes on those notes, right? Then it would be very easy to pinpoint, because when you are going through the material again and again, then your notes would be there as a part of that. Or maybe take out the printout of the slides and take your notes over there, rather, because the notebooks where I have written the notes, rather than on the books, it would be very difficult for me to go again to the content and then relating it with the notebook. So it was really hard. But later on stages in my all functional competencies, and when I review all of my areas again and again, then I was able to like write down the notes on those hard form. So you have to go through the pre-test, exam day tool, very important. And then you have to familiarize yourself with the exam day window. It is very important, because you have got the fear and the anxiety of how the exam window would be, how it would look like. So you need to familiarize yourself with that window, that how you can scroll, how you can move forward, how you can move backward, how you can flag the question. So these are very important things. Then flashcards. All the key terminologies are there in the flashcards. And frankly speaking, you must be aware about that, what is Jacob, what is there's so many, what this theory is about and what is that. But flashcard will just give you a hint that, this word or this key terminology is from that area, and it will give you an overview of the whole that particular area. Then comes exam day window. I've already discussed. Then how many times revision is required? Frankly speaking, the whole year I have given 2 exams. Firstly, SCP, and secondly, SCP. You have to go through 2 to 3 times the whole content. Then otherwise you won't be able to pass the exam. Another thing, maybe luck could matter a lot, but again, luck, हर किसी का साथ तो नहीं देती on the day of exam. So you need to work hard. So you doesn't need to have the easy ways nahi dhoondne. And what I did, I have gone through the material 2 to 3 times. I did all the question again and again. One tip I would give you, they would be pre-test, right? Don't close your pre-test, because sometimes once you are going to do your pre-test and you are going to close it, you will not be able to access your pre-test. And because we don't know what would be the answer, what is the correct answer for that. So what you have to do, if you really wanted to discuss, though, don't close your pre-test. Just do until the last one and then go from, the backward thing. So it would help you out to keep going through those questions again and again. Another thing is that, lastly, what I used to do in my both of the exams, in last 2 and 3 days, I've revised all my content through PPT slides. Now everything I've gone through the content through the EPUBs in the hard form, but in 2 3 days I've been going through the slides PPT, and that was my the revision of all the content in hardly 2 days, in 3 days, and I was done with that. um what keeps you motivated? I will relate it with the Herzberg theory. There are the internal factors, there are the external factors, right? Internal factors, your self growth, your personal level motivation, and your personal achievements, your recognition. And what are the external factors that keep you motivated is all about the salary, the promotions, and the perks you are going to get after the SHRM certification. So I think so that would work. So keep that theory in your mind, the Herzberg theory, internal factors and the external factors. And I hope, I think so. You need to go. Yeah, another thing, you need to keep yourself motivated every day, every day. For the motivation, you need to give a dose of motivation, on everyday basis. Otherwise, you will be demotivated, and you will lose the track that where you have been. Maybe you'll be busy in watching the Netflix series, and maybe you'll be hanging out with your friends. So keep yourself motivated by giving everyday dose to yourself. I think so that's enough from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hina. We want to know what factors motivated you more, internal or external?
Both. But for me, internal matters a lot, frankly speaking. But I had a fear because, I have a family, so I don't want to feel embarrassed in front of them that, I had prepared for such a long time, and now, my results are that I couldn't pass the exam. So my family, it was a motivation for my family to, that they were really behind me. So I just wanted to show them, okay, if I can do, they can do as well. Thank you.
I think the good inspiration that may others like to follow the got certified, because you have two layers of certification, SHRM CP and SCP. There's nothing as such senior or junior. It's with reference to the relevance of the job.
Yes.
But the good thing is you did in the first CP, and within span of 6 months, you're now SCP. Very good progression. I hope others also who have their learning system active, their contents are fresh in their mind. If they want to upscale themselves, I think this could be one of the consideration. Thanks a lot for a very comprehensive talk.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hina, once again. As I've already introduced Sidra, so I would now like Sidra for you to let us know your story of SHRM.
Hello everyone. Assalamu alaikum. I hope I'm audible now. Sorry for the connectivity issues previously.
No problem. It's fine.
Okay, perfect. So hello everyone. This is Sidra Azam, and I, as Malaika has shared, I'm working as HRBP with National Foods. When I say HRBP, it's more of business, and HR today actually needs to talk business language. That's a must. What we usually see around us, that a lot of professionals other than HR, they keep updating themselves, be it IT, be it finance, be it legal, medicine. However, we as HR fraternity take HR profession like for granted. You name it, and everybody wants to be an HR profession if any other thing is not working out. So why I opted for SHRM certification was actually to keep myself updated, to stay relevant, and I wanted to like equip myself with the global practices. Since to excel in your role, you always need to stay ahead of your time. So that was one thing. The certification basically helps you align your HR thing with the business. SHRM basically is an HR certification. However, it actually gives you an opportunity to learn a lot of business dynamics. So that was one thing that motivated me and excited me to go for this SHRM certification, and that was something I took up. I'm glad that I'm done with it, and this year, this time around, I'm actually sharing my, you can say, success story. HR Matrix, right from the registration part till the final exam, was with me, and they were quite supportive, I would say. Be it Malaika, be it Sadia, Omar, Jahid Fase, he keeps on popping up in between on different, you can say, forums, and there was opening session by Zahid as well, and closing as well, helping us know what things we can like pick up in terms of tactics or tools to help navigate this Shram journey. What worked for me maybe can be of some, you can say, good benefit for you guys as well. The pathway actually I opted to navigate this Shram journey was there were two three things that were on top. So one was Shram learning system, that's a must, and Shram Bask, which Zahid talked about. And the key thing for me was the weekend sessions that were facilitated by HR Metrics. Why? Because they actually provided you with a platform where you not only like discuss those topics that are part of this Shram curriculum, you can say, but actually it was a platform where everybody shared their perspective. There were constructive arguments. There was not Omar only helped us. Clear our queries, but there were a lot of insights from the other participants as well. There were the cohort itself was a mix of people from you can say different cities of Pakistan, outside of Pakistan as well, our fellows from Kenya. So a lot of different perspectives actually help you reinforce those things that you are actually only not only reading. So that was a key thing for me. Besides, one thing for sure is the self study part. A lot of people say how has the Shram journey been, and what was the biggest challenge. So the challenge that I guess my other fellow colleagues also shared, that was the determination, the discipline, and your commitment to your learning journey. That's the biggest thing, because the study itself is a very structured uh, Shram is actually a very structured you can say an approach. It's a very structured way of learning things. And HR Metrics, the sessions that they have actually devised, they are actually very structured. What we need to do as individual is we need to self discipline ourselves. So that was one thing I would say that we, whoever is going to opt for this particular Shram certification, needs to do. And what I would suggest is rather than you're giving yourself big targets, divide that into smaller chunks of learning and smaller chunks of reading and exploring things. Because this is something that we are going to opt. People who are opting it is not something that we are doing it in silos. There is work life, there is family, there are a lot of things that we keep on juggling during our daily routines. So for my part, what worked for me was the smaller bite-sized learning. So for instance, when I'm like going from home to office, or my like plants maybe, so I use the travel time in between that. I used to like go through my learning system. I used to like give myself smaller targets, and that was something that actually helped me. So 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening, that was something that actually allowed me not to like give a time that is exclusive of my work hours. So that was one thing. Besides, the classes and the uh, facilitation by HR Metrics actually helps you keep on track and avoid basically procrastination, and keeps you motivated. And there's this you can say a motivation that there are how many days are there, how you can like give yourself timeline. So these are things that are actually work for me. And just wanted to say that understanding concepts is should be the key focus, rather than trying to memorize and putting yourself into stress to pass the exam only. The uncertainty for me was always there till the last day of my before my exam. However, what helped what helped me was the self study, the learning system, the active participation. What I have observed, the people who are more interactive and uh, more of sharing their perspective, were actually been able to grab the concepts in a more better way. And lastly, just wanted to say that earning my SHRM certification for me is not a finishing line. It actually has given me the credibility in my own circle, not in the organization only. That actually now people actually look up to you to help them guide. Previously as well, when I was not having the certification, a lot of people used to come to me. However, what I have felt is there is this credibility in what I say. It has like multiplied manifold. So that's from my side. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Sidra, for your wonderful insights and helpful strategies. Any questions?
Okay, I think there's one question in the chat box, Malaika. Somebody said, can anyone please share, let me know how many months? So it was already highlighted by one of our speakers, and we recommend at least 3 months of dedicated studies. You want to understand that everyone has got own pace of learning, ability to absorb, and your ability to read. This matters a lot. So on an average, it requires 3 months. But as I said, everybody has got its own style of learning. Second thing, I think all the speakers have endorsed that a structured approach is quite helpful. Now, I can also realize that some of the attendees, they may not be familiar with the terms which are being used, like the Hina mentioned about the pre-test and the flashcards and the the all kind of post-test practice tests. Now, for the understanding of the people who are not familiar, because somebody does not have access to the system, won't be able to relate what they are talking about. These are the various tools, the resources that are applicable, and those are lined up in a very structured way, moving from A to Z. So if you are able to fully benefit from those resources in a structured way and build a good grip on it, the chances of success are always higher. There's one more question in the chat box. Zaid Mahmood is asking about the self-paced learning system. Now, keep in mind before that there are various, you can say, the possibilities of going for certification. Self-paced is one of them. So the SHRM also provides the resources which you can buy directly from them, and or you get it through the partners. For every country they have their dedicated partners, like for Pakistan the HR matrix is there. So the self-paced module purchases, it provides you some, I guess, little cushion to save money. That is there, that benefit is there, and you can always exercise, but keep in mind that there's always a implications and the cost of the opportunity time that you have. So far the SHRM research is that the people who use the learning systems with support of the tuition classes that is provided by a competent instructor, and already said, I think Darren mentioned that the variety and diversity of thoughts that are generated in the class because of the mixed experiences and the background that the people bring, that brings a real life learning to this entire process. So I hope Zahid Mahmood, it answers your question. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
we have another question from Aisha. Aisha, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Malaika. Zahid Saab, I wanted to ask that since we all are registered in LMS 2025, so how much time we have to appear for the exam? How many windows we would be entitled to?
Okay. So the learning system access, once it's given to you, it's valid for 18 months, right? After 18 months, it's automatically switched off by the SHRM.
Yeah.
So in 18 months, you have 3 windows to benefit. And I hope you don't
Okay.
plan for the 3 windows, because your goal should be to clear in the first window, right? So,
Yeah.
but technically you have at least 3 windows, but the books, those are available in the learning system. You can download, they become your property, lifetime property. As far as the number of attempts in appearing for exam is concerned, there's no limit. Any number of attempts can be made. But ideally, you try your best that in first attempt you clear it off. But those LMS learning system would be valid for at least next 18 months. That means that for you can at least 3 windows of the examinations are covered in that. Does it answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you.
Super. Thank you.
Okay. So up next is Sarah Nawaz. She is HR head at Iconic and she is SHRM SCP. So Sarah, please share your SHRM success story with us.
First of all, I would like to express my gratitude for this opportunity. The alumni have already shared many valuable tips, leaving little to add, but I will try to contribute few insight that I have found helpful. Like for the SHRM exam, I strongly believe that this LMS is a key resource for the success. As Zahid mentioned regarding the SHRM task, I first focus on understanding how it structures competencies before beginning my preparation. Mock tests in a particular are essential for assessing your readiness, and based on my experience, the course is quite extensive. So it is important for you to dedicate at least 2 to 4 hours on daily basis. One of the most effective strategies is to take comprehensive notes while you're like preparing for the competency. These notes prove to be invaluable in final days because as if I talk about my experience, so I was just like before exam 4 5 days I feel like I don't know anything. So these notes really helped me when I just go through them, and then I was just like okay now, and like I was feeling overwhelmed that and unsure of my knowledge. So however, having well organized notes helped me consolidate my understanding as revisiting the entire curriculum in detail at the last moment in particular. Additionally, flashcards can be excellent tools for quick revision and helping to reinforce key concepts and boost confidence. So for me, notes and the flashcards before the exams were really helpful because when I was preparing for the exam, as Umar Saab was already when we were preparing for our exam, so he also gave us this tip कि when you are prepared, when you are like just learning, so make notes of each competency. That is going to be really helpful for you. So I followed his instruction, and trust me, before exam it really helped me because before 8 and 10 days I was feeling really overwhelmed. I felt like okay, I don't remember anything, and when I go through these notes and the flashcards, so then I was just like okay, and then I was really calm, you know, I know the stuff, it's just exam anxiety. So already the alumni, as I mentioned, that shared many valuable tips. So I'm just sharing my particular experience because they have already covered so much important aspects of the exams, which aspect of the exam and how to prepare for the exam. So this is from my side, and if anyone has questions, so please feel free to ask.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. I think you've given a gist without repeating what already had been said. I appreciate. Thank you. Any comments, questions?
Okay, let's move forward. Thank you, Sarah, once again.
Sorry, Malaika, there's one, I don't know, question or comment is more about the practical approaches. Najma Gulzar, you want to say something? I'm not able to understand your question. Would you like to elaborate? If you want to speak, you can. Otherwise, you can write in the chat box. We'd like to respond to your question. You can proceed, Malaika. Thank you.
Okay. Next is Sana Nazir. She is executive HCM at 4G Fertilizer Company, and she is qualified from CP. She's also my senior. So Sana, we all would like to hear your from journey.
Thank you so much, Malaika. Okay,
Welcome.
so for me, SHRM certification, the entire concept of SHRM, I got to know in fact from Sir Zahid when once he came to our university, and that is when I started doing my homework. Okay, this is something I want to pursue, and this is on my bucket list. I want to do it because during my master degree, we used to access the SHRM journal to go through the articles and do our researches. So it was always on my bucket list, but I never thought it was planned maybe 5 to 6 year down. So I wasn't planning to do it right away. The motivation, of course, developed when I, entered as working at ex-FFBL, where one of my colleague was appearing for this certification, and I had my boss had already did this certification. So they started talking about it, and from there the excitement and the interest developed, and I was like, I need to go for this now. So of course, it was my all entire funding. So I went for it, and when you are investing yourself into something, so the motivation is more with it. So I went into it, and on the first day when I met all these amazing class fellows, I was just a bit overwhelmed. Oh my God, they have so much experience. How am I gonna fit in this class, or what's gonna happen? But I think it was one of the best moments I had. Uh, Definitely kudos to the work, the class environment. Oh my God. I mean, it helped me so much. The instructor, Sir Umar, was on point, and everyone, when they used to share their experiences, when we used to discuss about multiple things. So basically, it helped me build understanding and, more clarity with respect to concepts, right? So for me, this active participation and the listening of everyone, and how their perception and observations are varying with respect to concepts. So it was super super helpful for me, because regretfully, I wasn't able to complete all books, right? So this was a game changer. The slides, it helped me, gra- grab the concept very quickly. Of course, the LMS, oh my God, it's super, super helpful. The fact it helps you, with the study plan, it identifies your development needs, and then you can focus on it. The quizzes, I mean, I was on quizzes spree when it was like last few days before my exam, and just the techniques that were taught in the class, how to identify the distractors. So that was super super helpful in terms of my exam experience. So basically, of course, the exam window, it's super user friendly. So understanding the instructions, going through it. You're gonna have ample time. So take your time. You don't need to rush, right? Just go question by question. You have the option to highlight as well. You have the option to eliminate the options as well. So it's super super easy. um Other than that, I would just say, even if you don't do good on your quizzes, it's okay. Even if you don't do good on your mock, it happened with me, and my confidence was literally so low. I still remember I texted Naima, I think I cannot appear in this exam. Can I, I am thinking to delay it. And she was like, no, no, let's just go for it. It's going to be fine. Whatever you have learned, just go for it. So, till the last day, just don't give up. I mean, you're going to surprise yourself. So, that's all from me.
Yes, Anna. I I want to know, how was your exam day experience? Like, how did you stay calm and focused?
Oh, I
As you
was
mentioned, your
freaking out.
confidence shattered.
I was super freaking out, but then I was sitting outside that prometri. I was sitting, it was like a lounge, and I was sitting there, and I just had to go inside, and I just said, Sana, take a deep breath. It's okay. It's okay. Nothing will go wrong. Just go do the exam. If you don't clear it, you can always pay for the second window. And even when there it was written pass, I was confused. Did I clear it? Did I not clear? I just asked that person, what is this written? I'm sorry, I don't know if I cleared it or not. This is the reason I was like, I mean, did I clear or did I not clear?
Very nice.
Yes.
Good to know that I mean, the cheerfulness that's on your face, that's a reflection of your, inner confidence and the strength that this certification brings. And it's very good to pass this experience. Exam anxiety is a natural process, because some
Yes.
people, we are not used to it, and we are able to do it, and we tackle it in a successful way. I'm hoping that
Mm.
people who are in the pipeline for the examination, they'll benefit from all these sentiments. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. And I just want
Um,
to add, only one of my bosses knew I was appearing and rest didn't know. So when I came next day, they were so surprised, like, you cleared it? You cleared it? I'm like, yes, I did it.
That's nice. Great. Congratulations once again.
Najma, do you have any question? You can unmute yourself and ask. Okay.
Okay, so Najma, question is very pertinent. And I want to give you, instead of giving you answer yes or no, the thing is that there's a typical process which runs behind this, exam development. So it's not just one-off process. Like SHRM certification, it started with the input and collaboration of 32,000 professionals worldwide. right? And afterwards, every year they do a rigorous research and they invite people from different parts of the world to be part of the research, and they make sure that content is relevant, it's workplace based, and so addresses the real life challenges. So that's my take on your question. I hope it takes care of your question. Thank you.
Okay. So next we have Sana Gilani. She is Global Employee Relation Manager at Terra Data Pakistan, and also she is from CP. Sana, you bring like global perspective to HR. So can you walk us through your SHRM journey?
Thank you, Malaika. Am I audible?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Zahid Saab, Malaika, for having me. And I love all the wonderful experiences which everybody has shared. I will try to be brief and not repeat what people have already shared. So for me, I would like to reiterate that do not sweat yourself studying a lot, because SHRM is not about a lot about memorization. It is assessing your skills. So your experience, what you have worked so far, how you have tackled various situations, that will really come in handy, and that will be useful. Secondly, with experienced people. So that's where this preparatory course from HR matrices was very helpful in having people from various backgrounds, experience, and then discussing various questions and then brainstorming. That really helps you broaden your thinking and your approach towards various situations, how you would handle XYZ situation and how would you respond to that. So I think that was very important. And yes, I would reiterate that LMS is a great tool. You should make sure that you go through it. You should get yourself familiarized. What are various tools available, flashcards, all the competencies. And what I did was I made sure that I complete all the quizzes which were at the end of each competency. And while I was doing that, I gave it time. Like after you click on the answer, it will give you rationale. If your answer is correct, it will give you a rationale why is it correct and why other options are not incorrect. And if your answer is incorrect, it will again give you rationale. So I took time to make sure I read through that rationale. That practice gives you kind of clarifies your understanding. And also, if you are thinking from one's angle, it will have open up your mind to think from various angles. That could be right. So I would say that complete your quizzes, read through the rationales, and then flashcards, they were important. All the exhibits. So for the revision, I had the revision in the last week. So for the revision, I used the slides from our preparatory course. They were very important, and it will quickly, go through all the concepts. And then I did exhibits. All the exhibits are important in the LMS and the flashcard. So talking about the time management, I am a working mother, and I have 3 little kids, and I do not get time to study a lot. I am a visual learner. I need focus and time. So what I did was, after my kids are slept like 9 p.m., so between let's say 10 p.m. to 12, sometimes 1, so sometimes I would fall asleep reading through the LMS. So I kind of struggled a little. I also had done shifting, like I shifted my place. So imagine all the work that I have done during the month of December. So at one point I was considering not to go for this time, but then I was like, no, I have to at least give it a try. So if you ask me, I give dedicated time. I was going through all the classes, and I was making sure that before the class I have read through the competency that we are going to discuss in the class. That was important. But I would say that dedicatedly I have utilized the month of January to give it all, and luckily I have passed it. So regarding the time management, again, I would say that if you have less time, and then there are days, like for example, you are bored, you don't want to study that day, give yourself break and then come back to it. I had weekly targets, so I made sure that I complete. So for some days, like Monday, Tuesday, I would give straight 5-6 hours. and then maybe rest on the next day. So give yourself targets weekly, and then make sure that you complete those weekly targets in that week. Apart from that, I think one more thing I want to add is on the situation judgment questions. Since the SHRM is assessing your skills, and it focuses on strategic and action-oriented HR. And all the answers which are lacking HR or ownership over action on an HR, they are incorrect answers. Also, the STAR method, that really helped in situational judgment questions. So STAR stands for situation, T for task, A for action, and R for result. So in those questions, identify the situation, what are the key details, who are the stakeholders, and then task, then you define, identify what should be HR doing, what is HR responsibility in this situation. And then action, that should be strategic, broad action, it should be ethical, it should be legally compliant. And then result, as a result of that action, there should be fairness, there should be trust, and it should also align with the best practices as well as the company's internal policies. Having worked with Teradata, I had the opportunity or leverage to work with a global organization. I've worked with Teradata for 12 years. Teradata, one of the ethical organization, put a lot of focus on doing the right thing and being fully compliant. So for me, whenever I was reading through the situation judgment questions, I would think that what would Teradata do in this situation? And that was mostly the right answer for me. So I think that really helped me clearing my exam. So thank you so much for having me. In the interest of time, I'll pass on to others. Let me know if you have any questions for me.
Yes, we do have a question. Fatma is asking that how do you divide the content and what is the advice for those not having SHRM learning system? Okay, so you can answer the first part.
Okay, so
How do you divide the content?
Yeah, so as you know, there are 23 competencies, rather 22 because we are not doing the US one. So I had divided like 2 competencies each week. So I completed one round of study, and I was planning to do another round of study, but as I said that my schedule was all over, and I was only able to complete one round of study, and then I did quick revision in last 1 week, and that's about it. And what was the second part of the question, Malaika?
I can
It
take
was
on
what yeah.
take on that question. So I think the point that emerges from your conversation is again coming back to the time management. This is a crucial factor in most cases. Then the people that struggle, they have a competing requirements of the time management, and when they're not able to do a justification with the studies, they're not able to pass the examination. So Sana, you on while sharing the handling the family obligations, managing the time successfully, I think it's a very strong advice that you're giving to everyone. As far as the question is concerned, without LMS, I don't think we are in a position to answer, for the reason that SHRM certification exam is not you can say a trial and error thing that one should be doing, because you can imagine that success ratio worldwide, even with the SHRM learning system, it does not exceed 70%. So how you can think of doing something when you do not have the learning system? I think that would be sheer wastage of time to attempt something, because the content is so updated, it's aligned with the practical real life challenges, and those challenges are not country specific, they're global, because the people expert from around the world every year intimately involved. It's how you come across the practical aspects at the workplace and how you're able to tackle them. So that's my take on that point, that without attempting the SHRM, I would call it would be a kind of a suicidal thing, and we do not recommend that without a proper learning system. Okay, there's one more question. Can take preparatory course at this point. I don't.
Okay. Zai sir, can I ask
Yeah.
one question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. May I know what is the difference in terms of preparation of SCP and CP?
What's the difference?
Yeah, in terms of preparation or an LMS, yeah.
Okay, so the content, no change. Books, no change. The teaching methodology, no change. The only thing comes is your exam perspective, because for the SCP, you have to wear the hat of somebody who is working with the non-HR, that means with the CEOs, Chief Operating Officer, Chief Financial Officer, and somebody who is supervising the HR, CHRO. And for the CP, this I'm talking previously about the SCP. For the CP, somebody who is reporting to somebody within the HR and dealing with the HR professionals, right? Like manager, recruitment, training, compensation, etc. So once you are attempting the questions and the quizzes, the instructor is going to highlight and should be able to assist that this is where you need to think more strategically beyond the functional expertise, and looking at the things from a broader business perspective. And this is where you need to look at the things from a purely functional perspective, that's the HR perspective. And the learning system provides you two streams, SHRM, CP, and the SCP. Now, depending upon the route that you choose, for example, you opt to go for the SCP, the question that you're going to encounter in your practice would be more relevant to the SCP. If you're choosing to go for CP, your questions being encountered during preparation would be according to your scope of the examination. But the contents overall remain the same. I hope it answers your question.
You mean to say that SHRM LMS it has an option to choose the SCP and CP option when
Yes.
we are going? Yeah. Okay.
SHRM learning system provides both the options. So even, for example, if you want to prepare for the SCP, you have the access to the questions that are relevant to the CP, right? Contents, the teaching element, the content that remains same. That's no difference over there. It's only the questioning pattern. There's a difference over there.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Got it? Okay.
We have
Okay.
another question from someone.
Yeah.
Someone, please go ahead.
Assalamualaikum, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to thank all of the speakers. Thank you so much for your insights, and thank you so much for organizing the session. I just had a quick question from Zahid Saab. Can you please tell that for students of MSHRM, which course would you recommend, the SCP or the SCP one?
Okay, let's do an analysis, live analysis. May I ask what is your total years of experience?
Working experience, 2 years of professional experience.
2 years, okay. And what is your, overall qualification, academic qualification?
I have done BBA and now I'm doing MSHRM.
Okay. So technically, SHRM SCP requires minimum 3 years of experience. This is a technical requirement, right? But as you understand that somebody who may be eligible for the SCP should keep in mind that whether the person is operating in a strategic role. Now, what is strategic? It's clearly defined in the SHRM certification and the BASC document. As I said earlier, one of the characteristics of the strategic person is should be working with the non-HR people. That means that, for example, if you're doing a CHR of a company, you'll be dealing with the non-HR people at the top level, CEO, Chief Operating Officer, Chief Marketing Officer, Chief Financial Officer. At the same time, that person should enjoy the oversight of the HR people, right? So this is one of the key considerations, because this is the factor around which the exam questions are structured. So even if you are eligible for the SCP, supposedly you have a 5 years experience, and you are still in the functional expertise area like manager recruitment, training, compensation, etc., we recommend go for the CP, right? And do not go for the SCP, because if you're not encountered a situation in the real life, once you come across the practical questions, you will not be able to tackle them. So in your case, particularly, it's very obvious you should go for the CP. But even if I said somebody in the senior role, but does not enjoy the oversight and not in a strategic role, technically you can do it. No one will stop you. SHRM would not hinder your application process if you meet the technical requirement. So I hope it clarifies.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, that clarifies. I just have one more question, that for enrolling in the LMS that the HR metrics offered, is there specific timeline जिन dates पे ये open होता है, या we can
हमारा
register any?
जो है ना with the, for example, at the start of the window, there are 2 windows of examination by the SHRM. One is starts in the first of May, it goes to 15 July, and the next one is 1st December, 15 February. So we line ourselves our learning system classes so that we are able to finish the classes at least 3 to 4 weeks before the exam starts and the people go for the examination. So at this point of time, we are in the last stage of completing the classes. Almost all the spots are filled. I think very few spots are left over. If still you want to join, you have some time. Our classes are going to start practically from Malaika from 15th onward or
15th March.
16th.
15
16th
March.
March. Okay, so next, I think weekend in the coming Saturday, we are going to have the introductory class for it, but we still have some spots. If you want to go for it, you can enroll. Otherwise, you can, if you're planning for it, you may like to go for the next window.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. I think there's one more question somebody is asking for the, okay. So SHRM also provides grants. This is good to know that you got the grant. Basically, this grant system is available globally. They have a criteria for, applying for the grants, and whosoever win it, they're able to benefit from it. Now, you have got access to the learning system, assistance. Now, keep in mind that there are different routes. As I said, one is the direct assistance by the SHRM that you can utilize. Grant is one of the option, and the other option, somebody want to go for the learning system. The other route is through the partner. As a partner, we have a contract with the SHRM to provide everything in entirety, not as a standalone. So, but in your case, I would like to treat it as a special consideration. If you have a valid learning system 2024, 2025, not 2024, we would like you to pay the tuition fee, because there are, you understand, expenses involved in it. And if you're willing to pay for it, we'll be happy to involve you in the classes. So you would like to get in touch with us through email, or even my colleague, Malaika, would like to get in touch with you to understand your circumstances. And depending upon your willingness to be part of the process, we'd be happy to consider it as a special case, because so far we haven't come across this kind of situation in the past. So are you okay with it, Hera? All right.
Okay.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, so our next speaker is Caroline Gina Mwaki. She is specialist HR at Aga Khan University, and she's from Kenya. She is from CP. So, Caroline, can you walk us through your SHRM success experience?
All right. So good afternoon, everyone. My name, like Malaika has said, my name is Caroline Gina. I know she had a challenge trying to pronounce that name, but you did very well. I'm happy to be in this forum to share my experience. I know many of my colleagues have highlighted some of the things that maybe I would want to share, but in a nutshell, I'll just do maybe a summary and summarize some of the key learnings that I got from my experience. So we started the classes in October, late October, and we had to go until January before we sit the exams in February. So one of the things that I found myself, so initially I was able to at least go back and read after we have our class. So our class, the Saturday classes, and
I think we lost the voice. The others can hear.
Family and being there. And so the time management bit was not easy initially. And until we even did the exams, I was still struggling with the time management, because sometimes you plan to go and at least do revision of a chapter or something like that. But because of other commitments, other than the school commitments, would at some time come in between that. But like my colleagues have shared, the most important thing is you already know that you have this exam and you have to attend all the classes, but it's always good to have a study plan. I know it's easier said than done, but if you put your mind into it, it's doable. Even if it's just maybe a topic at a time. And you make sure you go through all that topic with the different learning platforms that we had. We had the LMS, we have the flashcards, the EPUBs, all that. If you commit to at least a topic a day or even a topic within the week, and make sure you grasp all the aspects of that particular topic, I find it's easier when towards the exam you're not running and trying to cram, because one thing with SHRM is not about the cramming, it's understanding the concept and picking up the best practices. And even when you're attempting the exams, the only thing, it's not about what we are practicing currently in our different setups or in our different organizations, but what is the best practice for whatever scenario it is. So I think creating time for personal reading is very key. And then something else that I know we have mentioned about taking timed exams before the main exam. So for our tutor or our instructor was very key in ensuring that we get to time ourselves, so that during the exams you're not rushing or you're not finding yourself being time limited. So being able to assess your time and tackle all your questions within time is also very key. And that, of course, is managed when you're doing things, when you have the instructors and guiding us. Something I would want to add before the exam is to take plenty of rest. I think my experience was the opposite, because I panicked and I was panicking. I didn't feel ready to do the exam because, of course, the preparation, I'm one of the people who did the last minute preparation. So January, that's when now I did all my reading. And before the exam, I felt like the way you read and everything just disappears on you. I had that kind of feeling the day before. So I've now, after I've done the exam, I notice that it's important. I know our tutor, our instructor used to tell us this, but until you experience it, I think it's not something that you can actually tell somebody, but it's always good. If possible, do not even touch your book the day before. Don't do any revision, because at some point it gets confusing. So it's important to take plenty of rest and present yourself to the exam room. And I believe after you've read the whole time, I don't think that will be a challenge. Then the other thing is, do not overthink on the answers. So there's plenty of time, of course, when you're doing the exam. And the first instinct, I believe, is the correct answer. If you try to think and overthink about a scenario and get an answer, most of the time you'll find you will pick the wrong answer. So sometimes it's good to just go with your gut instinct, the initial gut instinct. I think other than just that, I don't think I have anything else to add, not unless I have any questions that I can take. And greetings from Kenya, by the way.
Okay. Thank you, Caroline, for your insights. Any questions?
Yeah, I have one question. Am I audible?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you everyone. A very insightful and interesting session. Everyone has shared the techniques to crack the exam. Definitely, it's important. I have question from all the speaker. Like, you have gained extensive knowledge through SHRM. Like, could you share how you have effectively applied SHRM principles or strategies in your workplace to drive meaningful impact?
So before you want Carolyn to answer this question, Aisha?
Yeah. Anyone, any speaker can
Yeah,
ask this question,
it would
like
be
how
nice.
you,
Like we would like to
any
hear her
speaker.
I think
perspective, but one of the thing I just want to add on. Sorry for interruption. I think we basically, the scope of today's webinar is because they're quite fresh from the examination. Or down the road, after 6 months, we do an evaluation survey, an impact survey, where we are able to ask people that, okay, you've done this certification by now. It's an ongoing journey. So, but how you going changing the workplace, what you have done, how you've been able to cause the impact. So that's I think the right time to understand the net change, because too early. But still, I'm sure that all these speakers, when they plan the certification, they do it, they have something in mind that what are you going to do with the learning that they have had in this process. So I would like Carolyn to please tackle this question.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So we are yet to have a sit-in with our director so that at least because we agreed we'll have to have a meeting with my director to highlight some of the key learnings and key learnings that we picked out from this training. So at this point, I can't say that I can't preempt what it is that we are yet to discuss with our HR director for the organization. So at this point, we've not had that sitting, but of course we have picked some things that we think would be best for our organization.
We have a question from Sadaf, I guess. Sadaf, please go ahead.
No, it's not a question, Malaika. I just thought if I could answer the question in a very short manner. So the
Sure.
person asked, how have we implemented, or how does the certification helps us in implementing at our workplaces?
Yes.
One thing that I understood from my experience, and I really wanted to share that, is this certification helps you understand the importance of stakeholder management. Because up till now, I felt that HR department used to work in isolation, which again did not, which was the reason of not adding that much value as it could have been. So this certification helps you in understanding the importance of networking, establishing connections within the organization, and the stakeholder management. Because if you understand these three things, then only you will be able widely. So this is number one, a success area that I have experienced after getting my certification.
Interesting.
Okay, anyone else? Thank you so much for adding, Sadaf. Anyone else with what already Karen has said? Because at the end of the day, practical takeaway, exam is just one of the aspects. Main thing is to transform your workplace, and with the help of which you transform your career. So there are a connection between what you're doing.
Yes.
All right, I think it should be sufficient. We can move ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Monis Imran. He is HR manager at One Network Private Limited, Pakistan, and he has recently qualified his SHRM CP. Monis, over to you. We'd like to hear your journey.
Hello everyone, and I hope I am audible.
Very well.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you
audible.
very much. Thank you very much for this event. I would start that SHRM journey is basically when you are stepping into this journey, you have to basically step back and you have to unlearn what you know about your current practices and what you are doing right now. And then you have to relearn what is being presented by SHRM LMS. This happens like anything that you are doing currently. It doesn't mean that it is the only way that it should be. There are many ways. and there are many best ways that can be implemented in various organizations. So one of the key takeaway from this certification was that I got to know about that how different organizations work on a global level. I got to know the global mindset and how different examples that were mentioned in LMS, especially in the competency connections. They were very helpful in learning the issues that we face on a daily basis in our organizations. And especially the examples that are mentioned in the competency connection, they are very relatable. So I would suggest the members who are basically now enrolling in SHRM certification that they should go through the LMS in detail and go through the examples and do the practice exams. Other than that, I would like to add that to go through this certification, the one of the most important aspect is that you manage your time and make a timetable, at least 2 to 3 hours daily. You need to go through your LMS, you need to study, you need to get to know that what are the current practices, how can you improve. Then during this journey, the best thing is that if you are learning something, you can implement it right away in your organization. So this helps you to reinforce what you have learned. And when you are going through the exams, you can always relate that particular example. If it is related to your work environment, you can basically relate it to yourself and you can answer it. So I would suggest a list that you make a list of the key strategies that you need to follow to clear your certification. And do remember that it's not only certification. And to clear this certification, it's basically how you are developing yourself professionally and how are you going to develop your global mindset, how you are going to change the HR aspect in your organization. There are so much to say, but I know the time is very limited, and most of the participants have shared their insights. I would like to thank the HR Metrics team basically to provide a very systematic learning approach, which have basically helped us in clearing the examination and also supported us to gain more insights through various participants, which have helped us in understanding the topics on regular basis. So if anyone has the question, please, you can ask.
So, Monis, I think what you said, all pertinent things, all relevant things, but I'm still trying to figure out, how your talk, your viewpoint is different from the others. So, the one of the things that you said, learning to unlearn, this is a critical thing in the field of the HR, because whatever we learn in our life, we usually seek reflection from our seniors. There's no defined mechanism of learning the way it happens in the medical, in the engineers, in the aviation. There's a way of doing the things. So departing from those things which we have been doing for a couple of years, it requires literally a lot of struggle. And if you're not willing to depart from what we have been doing in the past, I think the chances of success are diminished. So this is a key consideration. Thank you so much for a very valid
I
point.
would like to add another thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, basically, this LMS it has various kinds of topics, but every person has a typical style of learning. So the LMS provides you that style. If you are more into visual or auditory, they provide you, so adapt your style accordingly. So this is also one of the important things that you can adapt. You can use its audio, its reading, its PPTs via HR metrics.
Very pertinent, very pertinent, right? You can always match your learning style, and the system provides you that opportunity.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So now let's move to our next speaker. Joyce Chatau, she's specialist HRBP at Aga Khan University and she's from Kenya. She has qualified her SHRM CP. So over to you, Joyce.
Thanks, Malaika, and good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Joyce Agitau from the Aga Khan University in Kenya. A lot has been said by my colleagues, and so I will try so much not to repeat what has already been said. And I'll just pick on a few things that from my personal experience during this journey. So the portal, the LMS portal has all the, we have a learning plan, a study plan rather, in the LMS, right? And so being a HR practitioner, how did that work for me? Instead of reading first and then doing the test, I was doing the opposite. I'll start with the quiz and see how I perform so that then I would know which areas I needed to put in more effort. And that worked for me, doing the reverse, doing the quiz first and then going to the text. That worked for me. And towards the end, I made use of the book called Ace Through Your Exams and the Basque. And why did I fall back to those books? We were always told by our facilitator to create time to study, personal study. But that was very difficult because of work engagements and family commitments. And so, like Mr. Mohammed said, from the old school, would wait and read until the last minute. And so what I found myself doing was burning the midnight oil, trying to read everything. But like Sana said, once you decide you're going for the exam, you go and face it with an open mind, because the worst that would happen is not make it. But if you don't make it, then you learn your lessons. So for me, I was prepared. I'm going to face this exam and I'm going to pass. But if I don't pass, then I know how to do it better next time by creating time deliberately to read, because I thought I would do that in the last 2 weeks before the exam, but it just hit me. By the time I was going for the exam, I was so exhausted. But Daryl told us, when you get into that exam room, remember you have a maker. So I said a prayer and I told God, I was not created to fail. So even in this exam, I'm going to pass. And so I went through the exam, and when I finished the exam at the end, I didn't finish the exam by clicking the finish button, but I went to the survey. And so as I was doing the survey, a button clicks and says, you need to finish the exam. So I clicked the finish. So when I finished the exam, a message popped that, congratulations, you have passed. So for a moment, I was confused. I didn't know whether I had passed the survey or the exam. So I stared at the screen until, the survey ended and the screen telling me that congratulations, you have passed, remained on the screen. I was so grateful. I couldn't help but say a prayer immediately after that, just to thank God that he had actually shown me that I was not created to fail. So what were my learning points? We had been told to create time to read, personal time. If I were to go back to this session or the next session, the SCP or the CIPD, I would make every effort to create time because I wouldn't want to go through what I went through during this last exam. So the exam preparation, I had to make use of the Ace Through Your Exams and the SHRM Basque. And this one, my fallback material, because the amount of information in the LMS is a lot. Like Sanar said, personally, I'm also yet to finish reading the EPUBs. But because I managed to pick the areas that I was weak in, following the regular quizzes that I was taking, I was able to pass through the exam. So the quizzes help you identify your weak areas, and that is now where you need to put in more focus. The exam that the final quiz, the pre-test, I did it the first time, I failed. I got 120 and I thought, I hadn't read, but I scored 120. What if I read? I will do better. So that was a motivator for me. So I went back and read, and then I went back to the same exam. The second time I scored 170. The third time I got 190. I did it more than once. The third time I got 190. And I told myself, if in a span of 1 week, actually not 1 week, in a span of 4 days, if I can move from 120 to 190, during the exam, I will score more than the 200. And I think I did. And what did I do? The situational judgment questions take a lot of time. Okay, so I would read through and consciously, I would be like, I've taken so much time on this question. So I would select an answer that, I think is the correct answer. I select the answer and I flag it and I proceed to the next questions. The knowledge items were easier to do. So I would go finish the knowledge items and then come back to the situational judgment questions. And like Caroline said, and like our facilitator Umer said, in most instances, your first instinct, your first choice of answer is usually the correct answer. And I can confirm that because I went through that when I was doing my quizzes. I would select an answer and then ask myself, that question is so simple. The answer cannot be that simple. There must be something hidden. And so as you try to look for what is hidden in the question, you get lost and you end up selecting the wrong answer. So in my quizzes, I would have two answers. My first choice and the second one that I picked after complicating the question. And in almost all the circumstances, all the situations, my initial answer, the one that I picked first, ended up being the correct one. So sometimes we also need to trust our instincts and, always select the best answer. Never leave a question unanswered. I read in one of the books, I think it was either the S3 exams, that in all the 134 questions, there are questions that are there that are not graded because they're still in the survey stage or something. So I had to be very careful to make sure that I answer all the questions because you can't tell which question is for the exam or which one is for the which is out on survey because it is put in the final exam. So yes, it is possible, and I would encourage everyone here who is waiting to sit the exam to face it with courage, like Sanar. Just go for it. Do not defer the exam because deferring doesn't mean you will prepare better. You'd rather do it now, and if you don't make it, then you would have every reason to prepare better in the next sitting. I think that's it for now, because most of what has been said, most of the information has already been shared by colleagues, and it's only fair that I don't repeat. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce, for your insights. I hope everyone will definitely benefit from your insights. Now let's hear from Naima Naveed, Assistant Manager HR at Central Depository Company of Pakistan Limited. Naima, please share your SHRM certification journey with us.
So I think, Joyce, before, just to complement to what you said before, I think Naima, you start for a moment. All
Yes.
practical aspects you highlighted, and I think those people who are going to appear, they should also keep in mind that once they do the pre-test, as you mentioned, that if they get a low score, there's nothing to get upset because the pre-test talks about the past. It doesn't talk about the future. So you can improve your score with the help of more practice. Thank you so much for all the useful tips. So over to you, Naima. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, and thank you so much HR Matrix and team. That's Malaika, Sadia. It was a wonderful journey all in all. Before starting with the tips, I would just give a starter over here that your why should be very clear why you're pursuing SHRM or any other certification or anything in your life. Your goal should be very clear. Why are you doing it? So, if you have that why clear, then you will only work hard for that thing. Because if everyone is doing it and you just want to do it for the sake of getting that entitlement only, then it won't benefit you that way. So it is very important that why do you want to do it? So that is number one, that if you are aspiring for SHRM, you should know that what benefit will it add to you or the community you're associated with. Because until and unless you're thinking to give back to the community, it won't be that beneficial. One thing. Number two, what I would say is that before talking to about the curriculum or the LMS, I would say one thing. HR Matrix is a platform which over the years, I would talk about Karachi as I am a resident over here in Karachi.
they have invested time in generating awareness that why these technical certifications in the field of HR are important, and realizing that young talent like me and others in the industry, they aspire for acquiring it as well. So the cohort learning that I went through was the, I would say, the main, story, the main highlight of my success story. Why? Because the experiences which came across those discussions, those weekend classes, they were phenomenal. The peers who were over there, the community which was established, their experiences, and the healthy, competition you can say, or the healthy discussions that we used to have, though that was really fruitful. So I would say, and I would recommend that as HR Matrix are the, only partner in Pakistan, I feel for sure. So they do provide you with an environment where you embrace your learning and you embrace your knowledge and your experiences all in all. So coming towards the journey of SHRM, it was really difficult for me. Why? Because I had my exam just 2 days prior to my wedding. And it was like the most impossible thing for me to imagine that I will clear it. But when you have a certain goal and you have a motivation is very important. So you strive for it as well. So it is very important that your motivation will only come when your why will be clear. That why do you want to do it? You know. So my why was very clear. That why I wanted to do it, and I knew that I am going to have some obstacles. My wedding is over there, but I was just focused. I studied throughout these 3 months. I gave 2 hours, you can say, daily to whatever I used to study. On Saturday, I used to revise it throughout my week. I had a very busy schedule as well, with personal and professional commitments alongside, but I took out time and I was very detail oriented. But I would mention over here, LMS all in all is a tool which will equip you very well about your learning style. We all are different, there's a lot of diversity going on, and our learning styles are different. So, if for example, Sana went through something, Sadaf went through something, and Joyce went through something, I went through something, that will not be same. Our learning styles, our capacity of learning will be different. So, we as an individual need to focus on that what suits me. Like for me, I haven't gone through the books. I was just focused on LMS. I am someone very calculated in my life. So I just focused on LMS. In the start, what happened is that after the class, during the week, when I used to overview the concepts and the competencies, my scores were not very good. But I knew that I will come along. And I kept on doing it competency by competency. And yes, very importantly, whenever you're going through the material, please plan your study in a way that you attempt that quiz accordingly. Those questions are very important because if you read something today and you imagine that you will give the quiz next week, then you will just lose it. You will lose the concept, you will lose the flow, and it won't be that beneficial. Rather, the time will be wasted. So that is something which will, I feel was the main strategy for me, that I divided my whole, syllabus, you can say, into competencies, and those competencies, like two competencies, 2 topics within a competency per week I was doing. And little by little I did it. I made my notes, which were very helpful in the last week, and I went through them. Knowledge items are really simpler, but yet the ones who will memorize the concepts will only be able to do that. So that is very important. And most importantly, situational judgments are very, very tricky. People who are good readers, I would say, will be ahead of others. Why? Because they will have the, acumen to understand the question. People who are building onto the reading habit, I would say that they need to go through each and every word of the question. That is very important. Do not need to hurry. You have a lot of time during the exam and you will make it through. But you need to be very focused that what are you doing? So just give ample time to the questioning, and the situational judgment will not come overnight. You have to give time during the classes. After the classes, you have to go through the material, you have to revisit concepts, and you have to do a lot of unlearning. Do not assume. I still remember that I think a couple of days before the exam, Zahid Saab had a session, and in that he emphasized on please do not assume and do not, assume on the past learnings. You need to go with an open mind over there in the exam and in the life where you are, applying the HR concepts as well. So that is very important. The unlearning part is very important, and hard work needs to be there. You need to smart work. You need to just be dedicated because nothing will come easy. There's no shortcut to success. If you want something, you have to strive really hard for it. And that should be the motivation. And one very important thing on the day of your exam, there are 134 questions and two sections. So people they get overwhelmed with a lot of questions coming by and coming through. But just be relaxed. You are there. You are amongst those lucky souls, I would say, who have made it through. Because many of us we dream, but we cannot make it through. But you are lucky enough to be there. Thank your God about it. Be positive and strive for it. If even you don't make it, you will have a learning that will be worthwhile. So that'll be all from my side. And all the aspirants who are aspiring to appear for this exam nearby, I wish all the best to all of you. And thank you once again.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Naima.
Naima. That's amazing that you managed to pass your exam despite your busy schedule, like your wedding. So you must be really dedicated and organized. So yeah, thank you. Now we have a last speaker for the day, Muhammad Ehsanullah. He is Manager HR Analytics and Excellence at Pakistan International Airlines. He has qualified his SHRM SCP. So over to you, Ehsan.
Yes. Hello everyone, am I audible?
You're
Yes.
audible.
Thank you, sir. First of all, apologies for the late joining as well. I was busy in my PhD classes. I'm just sitting in my car, so that's why I'm not opening my camera. So before, just a brief, quick for my learning journey. It was quite turbulent in the initial time as I was very uncomfortable with my unlearning, especially because as we all know that the corporate world of Pakistan is quite dissimilar with the rest of the world. Now. So what we are practicing in over corporate world is quite different from what we have learned in the SHRM, LMS, and all that stuff. So thanks a lot for the HR Metrics who provided with such an opportunity for a great learning experience as well. And this, to be very frankly, SHRM journey cannot be possible for me without the support of the HR Metric, especially thanks to Sir Zahid Mubarak and my instructors and all that. They have supported me so to the highest level to achieve this goal. And the best part of the SHRM LMS is that it is the pre-test. No? Everybody knows what was his strengths and weaknesses, and these are clearly depicting when we take the pre-test in the LMS part. No? So these are the basic thing that the SHRM LMS is provided with you the exact what are the shortcomings in you with reference to the HR competencies or the knowledge items, and then you can focus on these items. So this is the only way that you can take this exam, be proactive, be positive, be motivated, and just focused on this and all that. They have a lot of resources available in the LMS, and the instructor-led program of the HR Metrics also helped me a lot. So these are the basic criteria which we have to be with them to achieve this milestone. So I know the time is short, so that is from all my end. If there is any question, please do ask.
Super, Ehsanullah. Thank you so much for sharing your journey. I know it was on your wish list to complete this certification by all means, and I really compliment your determination. So, any question, comments by anyone? Okay, so if there's none, I think we are set to conclude the session. We truly value your patience because it's now time for the iftar. Those who are in Pakistan, and also thankful to our colleagues from abroad. Thank you, Carol and Joyce, for being together, and others also, if somebody there from any other country. Malaika, if you have any final comments, we'd like to hear.
Yeah,
We can
just
continue.
want to say that a big thank you to all our attendees and speakers for sharing your experience and valuable insights. And to everyone who attended this session, I hope this session would have given you clarity and motivation for your SHRM journey. And that's it. Take care and have a great day. Bye.
Thank
Allah
you.
Hafiz.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye,
Physics.
everyone.
Thanks a lot.